time to talk about menstrual disc firmness in today's video. Hi and welcome back to Period Nirvana. My name is Kim Rosas. I'm a reusable period products expert. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. A quick little housekeeping. If you need some help finding the right menstrual cup or disc for you, try the quiz on Period Nirvana. It's something I designed to help rule out things that aren't going to work for you, whether it be a cup or a disc, and point you to the right direction of things that are likely to work for you. On that note, if you are looking to buy a new menstrual cup or disc, check out Period.Shop. It's my curated shop with the best, top quality, most amazing reusable period product brands. And it's not just cups and discs, it's reusable underwear, it's pads, and it's a great place to shop, but it's also a way that you can support the educational content that I provide here on YouTube. Now, let's talk about menstrual disc firmness. Menstrual discs are worn in an entirely different way than menstrual cups. So the firmness ratings that I'm using to describe the firmness of menstrual cups, they're the same as what I'm using to refer to the firmness of menstrual discs. And that is all about how they feel when you squeeze them. It's all about the hand squeezing. It's all about comparisons compared to other products. And there is a thing called durometer where you can technically measure the firmness of silicone. And that can be helpful, but it's also about how it feels in the body. When it comes to menstrual discs, they are inserted in a different way. So that is one thing. If you're new to discs, I have a full video, lots of videos on that. So I don't want to go into too much detail, just explaining how discs work. But it does go into the firmness realm of why you might pick a firmer or a softer menstrual disc. When you insert a menstrual disc, if it is a softer product, sometimes that can be harder to get into your body and pushed and tucked into position, whereas a firmer disc might be easier. A firmer disc is going to come out with a little more outward pressure of your vagina and through the vaginal opening than a softer disc, because your vagina is essentially squeezing against it. It's in the open vaginal fornix. You start removing it, it's going to squeeze as you remove it, and then as it comes out, it's going to also be squeezed until it comes out and it opens into its full circular shape. When you are removing something that has a little more firmness to it, that is a different experience. So it's still going to be squished as it's coming out of your vaginal canal, and when it comes towards the opening, it has a little more outward pressure because it's a firmer disc. So it's something to think about. I am not bothered by it. It does not cause me any discomfort. When I tell you that I just rip this disc like this, I mean, I just pull it out because there's no suction. I don't have to break the seal. I take this loop and I pull it out. Not uncomfortable for me, but I wanted to mention it because it's something that I don't think people really think about. So there are reasons to pick discs based on firmness. That said, when it comes to how the product functions and how it feels in your body, firmness plays a far lesser role than it does for menstrual cups. Menstrual discs sit in a part of the body that is called the vaginal fornix. It is kept in place tucked behind your pubic bone versus being held in place by your muscle tone. And on top of it being in this sort of one size fits most area, the vaginal fornix, it is also making far less contact with your body directly. It's only making contact with the rim, which is a very thin section of the entire product, instead of the entire body of a menstrual cup. So when it comes to firmness, even a firm menstrual disc is probably less detectable in your body than a completely identical in firmness menstrual cup because of where it is placed and how it is worn. When we talk about firmness with discs, it is applied differently in what it means to you. For the firmness scale, it goes from softest to firmest, with 1 being the softest, 5 being the firmest, 3 being dead middle and the average. What is so interesting about discs is that when you look at the products that exist today, and there are a lot more as of this month compared to a year ago when there were just a handful, the majority of the brands fall into an average or firm rating. So here are some of the discs that are almost identical in firmness. The Cora disc, the Lumma disc, the new Hello disc, hello, the one that I helped design with the amazing toggle for removal, and the new Saalt disc. They're all essentially the same firmness. I rated them at a 3.5. So that means they are a little bit firmer than average. They're not firm, they're not average. They're just like a little bit firmer than average. And that is, quite frankly, where I think most discs need to be, but there is a nice option to have firmer and softer discs. But when it comes to working and being comfortable and being easy to insert for most people, like these are the discs that work the best and people find to be the easiest and they find to be the most comfortable. So it makes sense that when we're designing these products and when other people are designing these products, that they are going for the firmness that people like and that works for people. There are, of course, discs that are not a 3.5 or a 3. The softest disc is the SHEPeriod. It is the only one that I know of that is this soft. Very, very flexible and flimsy. Nixit is a 2. It has a little bit more firmness than the SHEPeriod, but it's definitely not firm enough to be considered average. And then the disc that actually is a 3 is the Ziggy disc by Intimina. This is their new size A. They have 2 sizes now. And of course, 3.5, there's a whole grouping of them that fit that bill. And we're skipping to a 4.5. This is the Flex reusable. It was meant to be very close in firmness to their disposable, so it has quite a bit of firmness to it. And this is the very firmest Flex. That would be a 5. The firmest rim you can get. It is very, very firm. It's thinner than the Flex reusable rim because it's a harder material. It's not silicone. It is a plastic kind of polymer material. And even though I'm not a fan of this kind of disc, both texture-wise but also firmness, there are people who really appreciate the really firm nature of the Flex disc and are always looking for a disc in a reusable version. So the fact that Flex came out with a reusable that is close to the firmness of their disposable was pretty smart. One aspect of firmness that is part of how it works is if it will auto dump for you or not. Auto dumping, as I've mentioned in many videos, is when you are wearing a menstrual disc and when you go to the toilet, it tilts a little bit due to the combination of sitting and going to the bathroom that allows some blood to escape. A properly fitted menstrual disc is only going to allow this to happen when you're on a toilet. It's not going to do this when you are sneezing, coughing, running, jumping, squatting, doing exercises. If it does, it means it's not the right fit for you. But I understand that people are very nervous about this concept. So, as with anything, you want to wear backup when you're trying a new menstrual disc. But what happens with firmness is that firmer discs are less likely to do the auto dumping because of their firmness and to need a little more pressure to make it happen. And this, when you want it to happen, you'll actually really notice a firmer disc takes more force to make it do the dumping part when you want it to auto dump. I love auto dumping, so I want it to dump on a heavy day, and depending on the firmness of the disc, I definitely notice a firmer disc takes more effort for me to make it auto dump than something that is a little softer. And most of the discs available are in that sweet spot between average and firm. It also can be a little bit about the shape of the rim, but that's not what this video is about. I know feedback in terms of what is working for people and what is not is a little bit of a combination of the rim shape as well as the firmness. But I want to always add the caveat that these little minute differences don't make as big of an impact with a menstrual disc as they do with a menstrual cup when it comes to fit and when it comes to comfort. It is not unheard of that you might have bladder pressure from a menstrual disc, but it is certainly far more rare than it is with menstrual cups. That is because of where it is placed. It is higher in the body. It is not having that full contact with your bladder. So if you are someone who uses menstrual cups, you're frustrated by firmness issues, even a firmer disc is very likely to still not cause bladder pressure. It's possible, but it's unlikely. So firmness for discs it's still a thing. It's still important, but it doesn't have the same comfort effect as firmness for cups. And it only plays a minor role in how easy it is to insert and remove. I don't want to make too long of a video, and as I mentioned, this is my second time filming this video as well. The other cup firmness video I had to film twice, and I am So tired of the word firmness, I can't even begin. I am like, firm, soft. I don't want to hear it again today. But I did want to make this video because it is an important topic and I haven't had the time to cover it yet. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube so you can keep learning about menstrual cups and menstrual discs. Follow me on social media at Period Nirvana. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and all of those outlets. And if you need a little peer-to-peer support, you can join our private community on Facebook. It's called Period Nirvana Community. That's everything until the next video, and we'll see you again, I hope soon. Bye. Menstrual disc, rim portion, it's only making contact